they had practiced with it a lot, scrimmed with it a lot, and they know very well how to play around it. Like Doom is just not a typical 3. Most of the time, it's a 4, if anything.
Yeah.
And
Do you feel like maybe they've looked at the meta, studied it a bit more, and thought, how does that fit to our team, rather than what can we extract from them? What's good in the meta?
it's just a less individual-based playstyle. I think even when they won with Naga, it wasn't like, wow, Liquid's teamwork is exceptional this game. It was just a lot of small individual performances, whereas this time, they actually came together and did stuff together. They five-man, they fought together.
Made the point that they were allergic to five-manning at DAC, and here, this was much more cohesive.
Yeah, when you have this much individual skill on your team, your problem is going to be teamwork. So they do need to focus on that.
Let's get into the second draft then. Bans have been completed. We're already into the end of the first phase. We've got a Coral for Thunderbirds and a Night Stalker Monkey King opening from Team Liquid this time.
Night Stalker, the big, I guess, surprise pick of the openers, obviously being picked up as a counter to Keeper of the Light, able to reduce the daylight hours where Keeper of the Light can utilize that Axe Scepter, but a hero you hardly expect to see picked at all this major, and coming out in the first stage at that.
Reza was actually talking. I think they might be asking him if he wants Naga first phase.
Yeah, Naga's a pretty decent hero versus the Monkey and the Night Stalker, for sure. It's a very good combo together as well. One thing I realized is, like, Kato sort of, like, fell out as a top-tier pick, but the Thunderbirds had first pick, and they decided not to go for the Monkey themselves. So what can this tell us? Maybe Misery doesn't really like the hero to play for himself.
We also saw a lot of Kato used as a kind of offensive counter to Monkey King at DAC as well, because of the vision. But
we got the blinding light as well.
Maybe, so maybe he thinks we'll pick it first. That stops them picking the Monkey King. But actually, they go, we don't care.
Right. Like like Monkey King, how he can scale now with Midas and stuff. He'll eventually get this BKB where this blinding light is not going to be a big problem to take him out.
But even the Axe Vision too, they can easily find him.
Right, now they have Night Stalker. Yeah. Well, one thing I liked from the previous game that Liquid did was the Monkey King Spectre. It's one of IG's favorite combinations. If the Monkey King ever finds someone, the Spectre can just haunt in, and those two heroes together can kill them. And that's how they really want to play with this Monkey. They want to use him as like this sort of bounty hunter-ish hero, and just try to keep getting kills with it. And Night Stalker is a very good hero to pair with that.
Sand King's second pick for Thunderbirds, so...
It's definitely, as far as looking at their game one, probably one of the high points of their draft in terms of individual play. Moon had some really nice moves. The laning stage was won pretty convincingly, and then in the mid game had some good team fight presence.
Thunderbirds really like these heroes that can obviously go in multiple roles, but win lanes as well. And Sand King is that hero. Like if you think about what hero can just go to the offlane and pressure the enemy with dual lane or even by himself, that is Sand King. And now they have like a very powerful combination as well. The Kato Sand King, it's going to be very hard for any carry to just sit there and try to free farm or anything like that.
No Nagasaran today, fellas.
Yep.
Not this game.
Lina ban. Still a very high priority hero for many teams.
What about the T8 ban?
I guess respect ban after game one, I think there's not much more to it than that. Perhaps something that Liquid feel Miracle's going to be able to... I think that's one thing that, like, Paul asked, like, oh, what did Liquid do well that they, like, in that game one that they want to keep doing? I think giving Miracle these farm-centric heroes. Elsewhere, it's like, oh, we want GH playing Naga, they put Miracle into a support role. Even sometimes when he's playing mids, he wasn't playing that big power farming core, and that's why I think what T8 gives him and something that he really excelled on in game one.
I mean, you don't want to throw this guy off. He's one of the best players in his position in the world. Why would you want to make him a support?
It's true. Crystal Maiden was not first picked at all.
Banned in the previous game.
Yeah. So in this game, but it will be third picked here. Very good hero with Monkey King. Provides the mana regen that Monkey really needs. He's often just roaming around the map, and he's going to be low mana because the spells cost quite a bit, especially with the nerfs now. And Night Stalker can also benefit from that. So Crystal Maiden, that makes heroes faster, be able to play faster because they have more spells to use. And Team Liquid's heroes were already pretty fast. Now they're even faster than that.
Yep. Well, what's interesting about Liquid is when we talk about adjusting and finding their identity since DAC, it feels like there's been a clear change where now it's GH is playing like 5 position. He was always playing these farming, greedy 4 position heroes, sometimes playing mid Naga. I mean, even if you ignore the mid Naga games, he was always playing these greedy roles. Magnus was a hero he played a lot of. He played Winter Wyvern. He's playing CM. It's actually Kuro playing the like 4th position roaming heroes now.
Yeah, I think it suits him actually to be able to just chill back, look at the team fight, and just be able to cast the best possible spells. And it's pretty nice, I thought. Like his Wyvern was very good.
So second phase, we've had Tusk Terrorblade from Thunderbirds. Tusk seemingly making a bit of a comeback. We saw a little bit of a DAC. We've already seen it from Secret today as well. Much more meta pick in the form of Lifestealer for Liquid.
Yeah, this Terrorblade trying to counter out the Lifestealer, I think was a very strong pick for sure. They don't really have much AoE apart from just a Crystal Maiden. And Monkey King, he's gonna die to a Terrorblade.
Sorry,
are you pointing at the ban?
The 5th ban, yeah, I just don't know. What? Okay.
So it's one of Weeha's
I
top
guess.
picks, right? So
There's still Tinker, right?
Yeah.
I guess Wind Range is one of the better heroes against Monkey King later on because you can just Wind Run in the ultimate and not get hit,
he can't get hit, yeah.
And good against Lifesteal, of course, too. With
And he
Wind
can
Run.
cut down his trees too. Most of these heroes who can do that are quite nice.
Surprisingly good Wind Ranger game.
Unusual. They don't come along very often.
Also very good versus Lifestealer too. Lifestealer has a lot of trouble versus that hero.
Okay, so final ban for Thunderbirds.
They need a way to deal with the Terrorblade though. Like, there's, I think 2 ways they can go about it. One's a mid hero that can deal with the Terrorblade, like Tinker comes to mind. Lena is also
Perfect
been
ban.
banned out.
Perfect
But
ban for sure.
also the second option is to have a hero that can actually go inside the Lifestealer, or the Lifestealer can go inside of it, and you can actually just disrupt most of the other lineup and
How
kind of
about
just
Ember
leave the
Spirit?
Terrorblade.
Yeah, I was thinking Ember.
Whoa!
Mid
Keeper Bristle.
Is that mid Bristle then, or is Sanking going mid? I mean, there is that flexibility, but it almost feels like Bristle.
I mean, they're definitely going to wait to see what the last hero is. This is another debate for sure.
You mentioned Ember. I feel like the other one, is, as far as Lifesteal Infest goes, is obviously the Storm Spirit. As the obvious Infest target for a Lifesteal this game.
Well, if they pick Ember now,
First
it could be
keep.
very bad because Bristleback is actually going to
Destroys it.
dumpster an Ember Spirit mid. But we'll see, because Ember can still play this fast game, right? And maybe that's what they just want to focus on right now. Just try to go out there, kill them, and just continue the snowball.
Do you want a potential Silver Edge carrier though? You don't have any Silver Edge builders too, which you might need to address the Bristle.
What is that, like
back.
a Shadow Fiend?
Yeah, I was gonna
it's
say
hard
Shadow
to see
Fiend.
what heroes can just do that. Like this Bristle pick is definitely like a big stump though.
How scary. I mean, this hero keeps getting buffed again and
Dude,
again.
the hero's not bad at all, especially with Keeper. The double Quill Spray is ridiculous.
right.
It is so good. And they don't have any Silver Edge carriers.
Right.
So you don't actually have to worry about dying here.
I mean, it's been a combo for a while, and Lifestealer, like, he's a very weak hero in the laning stage. Like, if he gets aggroed on or anything like that, he doesn't have any very good tools to try to fight back. So if the Bristleback does go offlane with this Keeper, it might be a very hard lane for them. Oh, what?
Wow.
Who?
That's a Silver Edge hero.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah?
So
Arc
Liquid
Warden,
come up with an
alright.
Arc Warden, which OG played in their first game.
And
Wow.
they did not win.
Congrats
that
to
game.
OG, by the way. They did end up winning that 2-1
But
over
the,
SG.
the first game did not
They lost
win
the
with
first
the
game
Arc
with the
Warden.
Arc Warden as
Yeah.
well. So, okay, prediction time. Gons.
I'm
He looks at the draft and goes,
Not enough
No
time
idea.
to process.
I mean, I had Liquid rated higher coming into this one, and I thought they were favorites. So draft-wise, I'm completely thrown off. But I think I'm going to stick with Liquid just because I feel like they're the team I had the most faith in coming into the series.
Okay, Ben.
I'm down with the Bristleback. Thunderbirds, here we go.
Okay.
Is there a pass? It's like
No,
There's
no,
no
wanna,
pass
no,
here.
No. No.
Well, what do you think?
No.
All right. It's Thunderbirds.
Okay, it's as good as any reason to pick anything right now. We're 0-3 right now on the panel. We need something to go for.
I just want Monkey King to lose. Like,
That's fine.
guys.
Yeah, so Demon wants Monkey King to lose. Let's find out whether that's what happens and whether Liquid are advancing on with a 2-0 or whether we're tied back up. Let's head back to our commentary desk. Owen, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Red. And indeed, this draft, we saw the reaction from the panel there already here in day one of the Swiss format group stage. We're getting a lot of excitement. Thunderbirds finishing with a Bristle that we assume is going to be mid. I mean, they could switch it around. And then the Arc Warden in response, Purge.
That's the second Arc Warden of the day, by the way. It's a decent hero. I think the Bristle is a really good pick, though. His opponents, there's a lot of low armor heroes. It's like, what, Arc Warden has really bad base armor. Monkey King has really bad base armor. CM does. With the backing of a Tusk behind him in case things get a little bit iffy, and Caudle as well, I feel like he can do a lot of good stuff this game. It'll be interesting to see how it works. But previous to this, the only team that really has been picking Bristle a lot has been Complexity, and they didn't end up making it here. So
they did not.
We'll see if this one's mid though.
Wow.
They were playing carry.
Wow,
we
have Bristle.
So I think it could be really effective this game. I've been playing the hero, randoming the hero a little bit lately. It's quite good, especially when Liquid is really weak on disables. They've got silences and stun. Silences are pretty effective against the hero because he does need to stack up quills, but. I think this is a good game for him. I think it could be really effective.
I mean, yeah, this mid lane matchup, one that I want to say I don't think we've ever seen before in Pro Dota. Arc Warden versus Bristleback. It feels like this is very new territory for us to be stepping into, Purge. But I mean, how do you expect this 1v1 matchup to go between these very kind of unorthodox heroes to the mid lane?
Well, with a little bit of cover, I think Bristle can do really well, but I do think Monkey King will roam on him, obviously. Okay. And it's very dependent on how much mana he has, because once he gets a bottle, it'll be fine, because he's going to have more than enough mana. But to go for a kill, you kind of need to cast all of your mana pool in Quill Sprays. So that part will be important. How well can they deal with the Monkey King roam is going to be a big thing, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, talking about the other cores as well, Thunderbirds getting that Terrorblade, as mentioned in the draft, that hero itself is going to be pretty strong against the Lightning and such. KuroKy does manage to get the nice little steal there at the bounty rune, so Liquid will secure themselves the 3.
That's huge for Monkey King, actually, because getting up to either a Stout Shield early or something like that, some kind of survivability, is a really big deal. So 100 gold puts him a little bit closer to trading better in the laning stage when he still has regen. So I really like that steal for him.
Looking at the side lanes, looks to be... Well, as expected, we're going to see potentially a bit of aggression coming out from Thunderbirds, bringing the Keeper of the Light down here, so Misery can back up Moon. Already, though, KuroKy with his eyes on Misery. Misery did spot him jumping between the two, and did try there to catch him off, but KuroKy quick with a jump to the side. So running these dual lanes, Thunderbirds, and Liquid leaving Mind Control up on his own on the top lane. In fact, he's been trapped in by the shards. They're trying to go for the kill here with the extra damage from the Metamorphosis, but it's not quite enough. Mind Control able to walk it off. Pretty tanky, 660 HP, 6 armor straight out the bank. And with the poor man's, it's a hard kill for those two. Yeah,
they blocked a lot there. The wave is going to push now, so that'll guarantee him some experience. But in the offlane, it's not going as well for Thunderbirds. Keeping Moon Meander in the front is the safer way to do this, because Misery knows that he's the vulnerable of the 3.
And Moon just coming in with the burrow and trying to get some Cosmic Finale procs to harass him back. And in fact, yeah, Misery has been trapped up by KuroKy and GH. That's going to be your first blood. KuroKy, brilliant start to the game. We saw him get the bounty, getting the first blood. This is huge for a Monkey King.
Yeah. He's going to take some damage here, though, with creeps plus the Sanking. He might be able to get this kill.
Well, it's close, yeah. I mean, the Cosmic Finale, if he gets one more touch, he could have done it, but the open wounds is there to slow him back in return. Has got a man going to Burrow Strike, which he is going to need. In fact, Burrow Strike's in aggressively looking to try and get GH. Matuma Man look to chase down Moon. Hasn't quite got the movement speed to find him.
Nice.
KuroKy jumps back in on Misery, who did get the kill there with the Illuminate, but pays with his life as Liquid do find him in return and make sure that they keep this trade down bottom as a 2-for-1.
I think that's pretty valuable. A little bit of gold there for the Caudle. Level 2 as well is not bad to have.
Wow.
Zanking
He's got another Burrow Strike. Again, I mean, the choice to Burrow Strike back in, is it not good for him to just Burrow Strike away and create distance in that situation?
Yeah, he's playing very aggressive right now. That one was definitely a mistake for sure. There's just a little bit too much disable, especially with the Orb of Venom. It's just very difficult to lane against this, and he got overconfident for sure. Back on the mid lane, looks like things are pretty even. Weehaw's got the same last hits as the Arc Warden. He's got his bottle finished up, so he's going to be able to push a lot better than Arc Warden can as well. So pretty consistently, I think Weehaw's going to have a decent time, and it should really lower the amount of time that he can even be ganked, because he just pushes the lane, grabs the rune, and should be fine there. So I think the mid lane might even be just a little boring. It'll come down more to how the support rotations go now that the Sen King goes to the jungle. See what those guys do. The Monkey King, the Crystal Maiden, maybe they'll get active, maybe not.
For sure. I mean, with the start of the MK God as well, it's scary. I mean, KuroKy 3 minutes in and just a blades away from a phase boost. That's pretty quick for this Monkey.
Yeah, that's a huge grab actually, especially if you can find heroes without boots and he's got phase boots already. I guess Coddle's already really fast, but maybe a gank here on Weehop, but no creeps. There's no way they can dive towers.
Yeah, no point in the passive yet for Kuro to get the second point in the boundless for that play down bottom. And Weehop, yeah, taking a lot of harassment here from Arc Warden, just laying down those wraiths and keeping him zoned out of the lane so that Miracle may start to be able to get a bit of a lead in this 1v1.
They also did see that Moon Meander was here by the shrine, so now they can maybe make some assumptions of gank patterns on that. So I just don't really see Thunderbirds getting a lot of kills right now. It's pretty much down to what roam that Tusk might do, but it's just better for him to prioritize levels right now, because if he doesn't gank somewhere with like Sand King or the Coddle, there's almost no way they get a kill, because their lanes, their cores are just not super gank heavy. It's like Bristle and Terrorblade might as well be the same hero. It's just right-click heroes. They do a lot of physical damage, but they don't have good disables, so the lanes should just be passive for Thunderbirds. So not feeding is definitely their big goal here.
Mind Control coming in with a good bit of harassment under the cover of night. Saxa plays it safe, rolls himself away. And, I mean, Mind Control, during this first night, can he himself get much done in terms of rotating to overlays?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. I mean, he can be somewhere with Monkey King and do something good. Gank coming in mid.
Yeah, trying for the TP out is not going to make it with Kuro being there as well. And Miracle getting himself a nice bit of a cash bonus.
It was a good try on the TP. A lot of Monkey Kings. Some of them don't grab Boundless Strike at level 2, but Kuro doing the safe, smart thing, grabbing Boundless Strike for the stun. So that's the kill that they've been looking for. But it's only Misery's. Oh, it's actually his third death. I don't remember a second one, but yeah, he's really the guy that just can't die. But it's very difficult for him to actually play in the offlane here. Normally he sits on trees, blasts the wave out, his opponents won't see him coming, but against the Monkey King, he can't do this as safely. Like, even right now.
GH is hunting for him, and Misery has been caught out again. This will almost certainly be the fourth death here from the Keeper of the Light. Mass TP's coming through with the Boundless. They'll find him once again. Saxa and Moon. See if they can get anything in response. Ice Shards are out. Kuroki still in the safety of the trees as he hides up top. Moon trying to find him there. Cuts through one. Isn't going to get him initially. They're hunting. Seeing if they can get him. GH very deep as he himself as well hides in the tree line. Will be successful by the looks of it with the TP out. Kuroki still has to be very careful how he jumps about here.
Yeah, that was really smart how he did it. He saw Tusk cut the tree, or Moon Meander cut the tree, but he actually didn't jump. Because because a typical Monkey King player would just jump instantly when they see
panic,
one. But that actually reveals you a lot of cases, and it makes the tree move. So if he just stood still, then it was just Moon Meander moving on to the next spot. So Mind Control at this point has really not done that much in his lane, but he has gone level 5, which is pretty solid here. Can maybe kill Resolution, but he'll go under tower.
That's a lot of armor on Reza.
So the nice thing that Mind Control is doing is that he's just being a nuisance in lane, basically. Is that Rezo can't do everything that he wants to maximize his farm.
He's still getting decent farm, though. I mean, he's still on par with the Life Stealer.
I feel like it could be higher due to having illusions and things like that. Lifestealer's also been in some kills, so Lifestealer's definitely getting more right now. So I think Thunderbirds is in a bit of a vulnerable position right now. They're going to need to take some fights with things like Bristleback for this game to kind of come online, because they really don't have very much tempo to set. And the heroes that they do have to set some tempo and to get efficient plays is basically like Coddle, and he's just super countered in the offlane by the Monkey King. So they kind of put themselves into a bad spot with their opener, in my opinion. Or maybe it was just because their mid didn't make up that ground. So we'll see if it comes together better. I mean, remember last game, Liquid had a relatively rough laning stage, but once they started team fighting, it got really strong.
And it'll be interesting how they plan to bring it together with running this mid lane Bristle. It's not a hero that's going to be able to jump and surprise you, but it's a hero that's going to be very strong to add to a push. Having him on the front line with his defensive capabilities once he has the Vanguard complete, and then just being backed up by Rezo on the Terrorblade, you've got the components for that very strong and hard to stop mid game push.
Yeah, that's really where it comes down to. Or maybe a fight where the Liquid overextends and he's able to TP in right on top of them. That'd be really effective as well. So, but for now, they're gonna maybe try to pressure Resolution. They spot Misery at least. That's the guy they want to go on. Yeah, I think he's dead right now.
Yeah, again, the easy kill for Liquid. The Keeper of the Light, nice Boundless as well to catch the TB off on the back of it. There will be a snowball as Thunderbirds trying to find something in return, looking towards GH. They'll get it. 1-for-1 trade will occur.
Actually, like the Tusk pick against Monkey King could really work. I'm not sure if you snowball a Monkey King, does it destroy the trees before he gets stunned? I'm not quite sure because it might do a good stun. At the least though, the Frozen Sigil can be used to scout, which is really nice.
You're gonna catch him. Yeah, there's a lot of potential.
So at least they do get a response kill though. That kind of stuff is really needed right now, especially if Misery's in the experience area. He's got to catch up in levels here.
And if they can transition it into a tier 1 push, that would be great. But there's a lot of heroes from Liquid coming up for the defense. Thunderbirds, they are going to try and move forward. Boundless Strike onto Saxa. Gets the snowball off, in fact. The Void still on cooldown from Mind Control. They'll look for the chase down. Saxa trying to juke this one out, but Kuroki up in the trees, giving that essential vision to allow Liquid to have that clean fight. And we'll manage to find the Tusk. GH suffering a bit with the creeps here, but Kuroki will be there to get them off.
So this isn't going super well, but on the bright side, Weeha's going to have a little bit of time to farm Ancients. He's going to have a 3-stack here and an Arcane Rune, so I don't know. It's not going the best for Thunderbirds, but definitely not out of the realm of winning yet. And although I would say Bristle's farm is actually quite low compared to what Miracle's got, but that's Arc Warden. Double Midas. It's pretty good stuff. And in some ways, Arc Warden may be one of the heroes that did get buffed with the Midas change, because it gives more gold but less experience. So that's maybe something that his hero can really benefit from.
Matumba Man, with the help of Kuroki again, getting some action on the safe lane as Mumiander's caught out. I mean, Kuroki just making all the rotations, perfect rotation. 305 involved in all 8 kills before the 10-minute mark. This is textbook Monkey King play.
Yeah, he's playing amazing, actually. He's using all his skills perfectly, too. It's very difficult to make sure that you make everything happen perfectly on that hero, usually. You're going to try to kill the Mimic thing.
Yeah, let's see as the backup from GH is
or
there, trying to save Miracle, and it won't be good enough. Thunderbirds managing to take him down. In response, though, Matumba Man already charging forward. Moon, again, with these very aggressive Burrow Strikes. Burrow Strike down to the low ground. Won't be punished for it, though, so Liquid do back off. But crucial kills to get. We saw a good Midas timing. We know that Arc Warden's farm can get out of hand. And this is great for Thunderbirds as well. Space is given up top with the pressure that was put on mid in that kill. Resolution has the space to get some damage done to this tier 1.
Yeah, that's very good movements for them. Arc Warden just didn't seem like the best pick in some ways. Like I get that the hero has some value, but against a hero like Bristle, he has very bad control. Like, yeah, he can pick up a Shadow Blade and all, but if you're just walking next to an ally, his flux skill doesn't work, and Bristle's just going to chase him down, and this might just happen here again too.
Oh, if they kill him again in quick succession, that's going to be brilliant for Thunderbird. Straight in onto Miracle with the nasal glue, the Walrus Punch slow as well. He'll try and get himself to the field, but that's not going to save you against the magic damage, the Quill sprays as well, as they rip through him and the illusion.
Yeah, like Bristle just literally runs at him, and he can't do anything.
He doesn't care about that field at all.
Yeah, like it's going to be a while until Arc Warden feels survivable here. He needs like a Force Staff or a Shadow Blade or something, but he's always going to buy Midas first, and then you've got to wait for the Shadow Blade. I don't think those heroes match up very well. But I'm not surprised that Miracle does not have a lot of experience. Maybe Liquid didn't anticipate the Bristle mid or something, or they thought it would be okay, but that matchup does not work so hot, at least not until later. So that's the one lane that's not going so well for Liquid. It's definitely the Arc Warden now. Those 2 deaths in a row were big. The first one as well, his Midas is off cooldown, so definitely costing him a lot of gold. Yeah.
Bottom lane, Moon trying to finish this tower off, but Matumba Man is there to start to force him back. Kuroki again ready to be in position, but doesn't get the stun off in time. Yeah, Moon with the immediate Burrow Strike into the Illuminate. It'll be Thunderbirds getting the first kill, and now Matumba with the Rage still on cooldown, could be in trouble. Immediate Infest to get that burst heal, but the chase down will be there with the slows, the stuns. Thunderbirds get a second, they'll get the tower. And again, Thunderbirds, after suffering early on from these Monkey King rotations, now reacting really nicely and getting Weeha active across the map.
Yeah, this is how they make the hero work really well. Just a simple rotation you walk over, but the big difference between Bristle and a typical mid hero is that he's insanely hard to kill. He basically just constantly slows you, and especially with the Coddle using Chakra Magic, it's a guaranteed super valuable use of that skill. So it makes Chakra Magic normally used just for mana. All of a sudden his Quill Sprays just stack insanely fast, and he can just win a whole team fight by himself in that way. Like, it's not like he goes all in casting Laguna Blade on one hero. He gets in that fight and he casts Quills until everybody dies and hits everybody.
Interesting decision as well. I mean, a lot of the time it feels like on strength heroes with these mana regen talents, it's kind of laughed off, and normally the other is better. But it's totally understandable why we takes that in this situation over the strength.
Yeah,
because of the aggression.
Almost always Bristle, at least when I play the hero, I almost always get the mana talent.
Yeah.
The only time I don't is if I have a CM on my team, I think. And a Coddle, you might argue maybe it's worth it, but, you know, Coddle can't be everywhere. And the more you cast Quills, the more heroes die. That's the straightforward way to play Bristle here.
You're not wrong there, Patch. Resolution. Dragon Lance complete. Ready to work his way towards the Manta. And this is a man that he's not really been prioritized in terms of Liquid's movements, have they? He's been given a bit of space now in the top lane.
He was certainly pressured in the laning stage by all means, but the last couple minutes of rotations from Thunderbirds have been way too strong. Like, he could dive Miracle right now, maybe. Like, they had to TP right there because there was a real chance that Weehaw dives.
Yeah, for sure. With this DD, Weehaw is ready to get aggressive. GH will lock him in under the tower. Kuroki's there from the high ground with a beautiful Wukong's command. Can they kill him, though? Yes. With Resolution and Metamorphosis, they'll find it. They'll get Kuroki down, and they'll try and move in for more. Moon with the two-man Burrow Strike onto GH and Mind Control. They'll pick a second. They should get the third as Mind Control surrounded in the tree line. They'll find that surely he's tanky. He's big. He's strong. Not quite strong enough as he finally goes down, and as a bonus, Rezo and Saxa were able to chase down Miracle, getting 4 kills in the mid lane. Thunderbirds, again, they have just stepped up their team fight massively from what we saw in Game 1. The execute, it just seems a lot tighter.
I think the big difference is that Liquid's lineup is not very good at stopping Thunderbirds from running straight at them, and that's the big advantage they're getting. They're going to take Roche super fast as well with the Goose stacks here, and Resolution on the end of his Metamorphosis. But Kuro's going to be able to go in maybe.
The steal?
Yeah,
Can they go for some sort of big play? Yeah, the Thunderbirds are respecting this.
They have to. They made too big of a mistake going in like this.
Kuroki thinking about going in, but the Burrow Strike again. Moon with these plays catching out the monkey before he can do anything. He's almost certainly going to pop. He does get the Boundless Strike off in time, and they did kill Misery. But with Weehaw and Resolution wrapping back in from the bottom, they'll take a kill in return. Jump forward from Moon as he finds GH. Matumba trying to play around with Moon, but he can't with the Sandstorm and the Burrow Strike. He's fine. Miracle's still there, laying down a lot of wraiths around this pit. Weehaw has to be careful. Mind Control in with a Crippling Fear. Void onto Saxa, bursting him down low. Miracle continuing to try and zone them back with the Wraith spam. There's the snowball from Saxa, who very nicely tries to get himself up to the higher ground, going towards the Ancients, but for some reason it doesn't quite close the gap. Moves back in, though, with the Epicenter onto 2. Matumba Man Rage still on cooldown for 5 seconds. Resolution and Misery looking for the chase down. Matumba trying for the TP out. He's not going to make it, though, as Thunderbirds will take down the Lifestealer and move themselves back into the Roshan pit.
And now Roche is going to have no armor from the Solar Crest. They finished Roche. I can't believe they were able to take that fight. I mean, Liquid did the right thing. They needed to pressure there and actually stop Thunderbirds, especially because they were so low. But that's the power of Bristle, man. He's just always regenning HP, and he can play around the fight. And one of the big things I saw in the Liquid draft when the Bristle was picked is that they don't have a lot of disable. Like, they've got all these like weak disables. They've got Flux for slow. They've got Void for slow. They've got Frostbite. But in all of those skills, you can turn. The only thing that they can't, that can prevent turning is Boundless Strike and maybe a Basher. So basically, every time they go in the Bristle, he can always turn around and stop 40% of all damage flying at him, which is a huge advantage to have when you're already tanky. And at this point, he basically can't die. Liquid needs all of their heroes to actually focus on him or to chain stun him when he's looking the wrong way.
And also, I don't know how much of an effect it's going to have, but they fluffed up the fortification there, popping it after the tier 1 went down.
Did it come back up? They fixed that. Or they changed it, remember? It's like if you
there's a little bit of a window, isn't
there? Yeah, it refreshes.
There we go.
Ice
Frog's got your back, Liquid.
Yeah, that's to help all those high ping players, right?
Absolutely.
Or the bad ones or something.
Here we go. Thunderbirds smoking up, but it was under the ward, so Liquid unlikely to be caught out.
I just feel like no matter what, as long as Weehaw's in the front, they're going to be... It'll definitely waste the smoke, most likely. I'm sure they'll prep for this.
Yeah.
Miracle, this could be really bad, actually. They don't have vision.
He's gone. Surely he can't get his way out of this one. With 3 heroes surrounding him, he's dead. Miracle,
that was a big mistake. Like, they definitely saw the smoke.
They definitely.
Just Thunderbirds took it the right place. I just really don't think that Miracle was expecting it to be over there. And by the time the smoke broke... But that's the problem with Dark Ward. He can't get away fast. He's pretty much committed. Like, if smoke breaks... And Moon reacts like that. Oh, smoke broke. I'm going to blink the high ground. Let's see if I can get somebody. They needed somebody who was more defensive on the mid lane, I think. And maybe they were thinking Ember, like Ben was talking about in the draft, but he's more survivable at least. Like, they definitely have equally bad time in lane, most likely. Maybe worse on Ember, but Arc Warden just feels so bad right now. He just doesn't feel useful. He's just dying repeatedly. He can control the area, space very well, but he doesn't feel like he's contributing anything to this game.
I mean, he's got the Maelstrom done now and picked up the recipe trying to go for that Mione, but Weehaw is obviously eyeing up a BKB. And once this man has a Vanguard and a BKB, the damage just isn't there from Liquid to do anything about Weehaw. They have to ignore him, but at the same time, because it's this mid-core, Bristleback in a great position, he's going to have a lot of damage to offer. The team fight kicks off. Misery with the blinding light knocks them back. Mind Control on the front lines taken down. Now the chase down from Liquid as they'll look to try and get a bit more potentially from Thunderbirds. Miracle with the Tempest double, trying to zone back Weehaw, but who was seeing this, the Flux just pretty useless against this 5-man that T-Birds are now pulling together. It's a spell that's just made entirely redundant.
Yep. If you're standing next to somebody, it doesn't do anything. Actually does nothing. So this is one of the big problems with Arc Warden. If you get behind and you're trying to team fight against opponents, a lot of times that skill does nothing. And then you're like, well, I hope I have a stupid amount of items, because otherwise it's just a magnetic field caster. I mean, that's about all you do. It
feels like with this build against this play, you can't really turn up to fight against the 5-man. The only way you can play it is kind of farm up and split push, surely, because the effect that you have in these fights is so low.
And if your opponents have better gank pressure than you as well, then you're just not really accomplishing that much. They are going to go for the CM kill. They even scanned for that one. Thunderbirds were expecting somebody, like they were hoping for a Monkey King kill, but found CM instead. Ooh, can they get the follow-up?
Oh, Miracle.
Like, what does he do here?
He tells Kuro to pick another hero.
He got another Ice Shards too because of the Coddle. That was cool. He can cast that twice. That's a 14-second block with Ice Shards. That's insane, actually.
18-11. Thunderbirds, at the moment, doing their best to bring this series to a 1-1, which, of course, wouldn't mind. We get to see another game between these two teams, and both so far have been incredibly entertaining. Now T-Birds thinking about the high ground break. Weehaw goes for the turnaround AFK strat. It's pretty strong with the Bristle. Moon jumps in with the Burrow onto Matumba, forcing him back. Immediate boundless strike onto 2. Saxa falling very low. Thunderbirds will have to back up and bring themselves back together before getting back in on this, as Liquid are full up and ready to hold. And indeed, Thunderbirds respect that, and they'll leave for now and look to high ground push another day.
That was a great CM ulti, but nice blinding light there to push the CM away. But that's really their best damage right now, I think. It's basically Crystal Maiden Freezing Field.
I mean, how's Matumba doing at the moment on this live steal?
I'm sure he's got good. Yeah, he's got Midas he's got an Armlet. He's almost got his Deso, just a 600 gold away. He can kill heroes really fast, but he's got to get on top of them. Yeah. And the way he did in the last fight was Night Stalker ran in, basically. It's a good way, but it doesn't get you there instantly, and your opponents aren't necessarily disabled when you jump in.
They'll get themselves a bit of a freebie here, Liquid. Quick rotation onto Saxa to bring him down. And, I mean, kills like that, it is pushing Mind Control very close to having his Aghanim Scepter. Yeah,
that's going to change the game a lot, because it's gonna hit the timing when Thunderbirds picks up their Ags on Misery on the Coddle as well. Yeah. It's about 500 gold away. So once he picks up that, and they can just spam Darkness all the time, then it's just going to really limit any vision advantage that Thunderbirds was supposed to have. So when you have these lineups like Bristles and Terrorblades just hitting buildings, vision is huge for pushing, because it does let you swing around, maybe catch the one hero that's by themselves. You can always know when your opponents actually have all 5 heroes there. So yeah, the Night Stalker is going to be a huge thing in this part of the game. But even still, I don't know if I have faith in Liquid's cores this game. I don't know if the Arc Warden is going to be strong enough. Will there be a point in the game when he actually is able to take the fight to Bristle? I'm not sure.
Maybe if we see kind of the game kind of continue to stay at this pace and not rocket too far down for Liquid, we could definitely see a similar situation to Game 1 where Kuro's able to get his items, and the Wukong's command becomes a massive part in holding these high ground defenses.
Yeah, that's true. That definitely could matter. And he does have the Midas, so you know he's on his way, I'm sure. The levels will help as well, and he can always just split push out bottom. But will it be in time?
Moon actually hunting this down, and he's found Miracle, but the Burrow Strike's already been blown. So Miracle will be able to get himself out. Very close to being caught though.
So he's doing his best split pushing, but I don't know. I just like right in the meantime they defended that, and Weehaw's still hitting a building. That's how confident he feels right now. Feels like he can be anywhere. Oh, the big save from Soxa. That was so sick.
Matumba man's just wrapped around from the back lines and immediately looking into Misery again. Good Wukong's command into the 3-man boundless strike. They'll take down Wow. They'll get the Saxa as well. Weehaw forced to put the BKB as he's trying to run himself away. Liquid, they can't deal with that BKB Bristle. They'll have to leave him.
That's okay. They got 2 kills.
2 kills.
Soxa did a great job trying to save Misery there. Blocks him in with the Ice Shards. The Lifesteal has to walk around, but Matumba making a perfect choice. He saved Rage there. Unlucky for Liquid. No Roche up just yet, but maybe they can grab Weehaw here. His HP's still a little low. They've got the Ags on Night Stalker as well, so they know where everybody is. The target is Moon Meander, if anything. prevent those epicenters.
Let's just see if they can get some sort of a wraparound here at the moment. Resolution already backing his way out of the jungle, keeping himself safe on the TB. But definitely a thing to account for is what it feels like. In terms of the cores, you say you doubt kind of Liquid's potential, but surely the same for Thunderbirds. I mean, the Bristleback, eventually there's going to be a point where his damage output is very much limited. He's not building any right-click items other than the Solar Crest.
It doesn't matter. This hero actually...
Yeah. You think the Quill Spray stacks are just always...
His ulti is real strong. Every spell you cast, you get 30 damage. Who needs items, man? Like, you could even go the build that Moo was doing consistently was like Blink, Echo Saber, Vanguard with Ags. That way he could just cast Goo even if nobody was around. And then he would blink in, and he'd have like 8 charges of his ulti, and he'd like 2-shot somebody. It's actually, there's a lot of interesting ways that you can build Bristle. And you just need a mix of some stats, but also survivability. And he did definitely need things like Solar Crest, Black King Bar. But I think from here on out, he may go, maybe if he goes Lotus Orb, I don't know. I'm not sold on that build this game. Oh, free Courier, that was a gimme.
At the same time, Liquid were able to find Misery in the jungle, but for sure, Thunderbirds getting the favorable trade. They'll put the pressure onto the tier 2, force out the fortification. And now, this time the float's coming into play. I'm going to see Weehaw say, come and stand next to me, boys. And taking a bit of damage here, and it looks like they're keeping themselves away from it. Moon will try and come in with a Burrow Strike, but with the silence onto Saxa. Saxa, he's out and down. Boundless Strike onto Weehaw. He'll put the BKB, try and get himself out. Matuma Man has to back away, though. The Quill Spray stacks, building up. Mind Control will get taken down. And again, we're seeing at the moment, when that BKB is popped, very little that Liquid can do to bring him down, and Thunderbirds turning back in for more. Godlike now for Weehaw as he picks up the double. And with Resolution turning up, they're ready to power down the mid lane, take a tier 2, maybe even more.
It's for 300 damage right now, and that's just from casting spells. So strong. And he's level 19, of course. That part helps a little. Continues to buy utility items, though, and Resolution on the backline is going to probably be able to do the damage his team needs. Maybe kill these, whatever, Tempest double thingies.
We'll see, of course, with the field. Miracle making it very hard to hit the tower. And Weehaw will be baited in close, but Timmerman trying to go in onto him.
It's daytime, though. They got heals now. This is the big thing that T-Birds are waiting for, and this almost guarantees a Rax in some ways. Although losing the Resolution's ulti, the Metamorphosis,
yeah,
that's going to be a big deal.
That's a lot of damage gone. Yeah.
And not necessarily the damage, it's more about the range ability, because if they can just sit low ground and keep hitting the building and continue to get these like 500 HP heals from Illuminate, that's where the value is. But unfortunately for them, that fight was forced, and it wasn't like a tower siege. So I think what the smart thing that Liquid could do is try to force fights that's going to get Resolution to use his Metamorphosis and prevent him from just using that to siege. Because if it's daytime and they've got Metamorphosis, it's going to be pretty straightforward for Thunderbirds to eventually take a tower. But running out of that there absolutely shut down their push.
Roshan is back up. Something that Thunderbirds for sure will want to look for, but at the same time, we know that Liquid can do a lot to hold on to it. We're seeing just the power of the Monkey King around the Roche pit. Big plays potentially from Kuroki to come through. If it does kick off around there, he's very close to having that Basher complete. That's
going to be huge.
Yeah, that with the ultimate, we saw it last game, just how disruptive it can be around these confined positions.
With that said, though, if they know where he is in the fight, I think Terrorblade's going to be able to deal with it really well. Super ranged hero, he picks up a Dragon Lance, so he's going to be able to kill the Monkey King.
Speed
as does Bristle. Like, Bristle can just run at somebody. Like, Monkey King can't really stop Bristle. Well, I mean, he could just ulti, I guess. That would do it, but with a Basher. But it's difficult for them to stop Thunderbird's heroes from running at them because they're all fairly tanky, and they've got good heroes backing them up with the Caudal and the Tusk and the Sink. The Scotty coming up soon, though, for Terrorblade. That could be really huge against heroes like Lifestealer. Can just get permanently slowed. And he went a little bit more of a greedy build, Midas into Desolator, so he's a little bit more damage heavy than typical Lifestealer, so he actually might die really rapidly in some of these fights. And pretty consistently, teams that pick Lifestealer almost always ban Terrorblade, so that should kind of tell you what kind of a place this is looking late game.
Thunderbirds, 26-16 in here, just looking at those two cores net worth. Clear 2,000 in respective between the mid laners and the safe laners of both sides. And a tier 2 going down. Thunderbirds.
They got 30 seconds till nighttime.
Looking incredibly strong in this game too. How do they stop this siege? See what their best efforts. Trying to make a go onto Weehaw. Immediately with the Lotus Assault. Trying to remove some of these debuffs. He's brought down to half health.
Doing good damage. They got a Shrine at least. Ooh, Kuro on the backline gets caught. That's a huge grab for them.
Oh, and he doesn't have buyback as well, so yeah, no Wukong's command for this defense for 40 seconds.
Man, that's so tough for them, actually, because they were like 15, 20 seconds till nighttime. I think he might have forgotten about the Coddle eggs. Or Misery was hunting him the whole time, also a possibility. But grabbing Kuro is massive. 30 seconds without that? At least the creeps are a bit cut. That helps him.
I'm on control. Let's see if we can get a grab onto Saxa, but quick with the blink.
Yeah. Guess they're going to give up on that one. Somebody must have pushed out mid, or just happened to be pushed. I'm not sure. But
I guess maybe Miracle had one of the Tempests out there.
yeah, this is. I was wondering about this. Where's the gem for Thunderbirds? They pick it up just now, and now this should give them a lot of map control. They weren't able to kill a tier 3 there, unfortunately, so no shrine kills. But they've got to offset what the Night Stalker is doing, basically.
Weehaw, feeling very confident. I mean, he is on his own, but definitely has the capability to do so. And I do like his decision as well. You kind of touched upon it earlier in some other builds that players do on the Bristol, getting the Aghanims. Having that, being able to, as you say, max out the stacks, and just providing that slow and armor reduction to really allow the Terrorblade to hit home on these heroes. Yeah,
not to mention every time he casts it, somebody's armor is going to be lowered by 2.2. And that could hit Night Stalker. That guy's not going to be magic immune. You know, using it against Lifestealer will be a bit unpredictable. You don't always know when you'll be able to cast it, but the damage amp, the AoE slow, all that stuff's going to be really worthwhile. What I'm really curious about is what he gets at level 25. It's either 30 health regen or the 25 cool stack. I think you go for the cool stack here.
I think you go for the cool stack.
It got buffed
I mean, he's
by
not dying,
25%.
is he? Yeah.
And there's a Coddle, so he's going to cast more quills than average.
Yeah.
You do insane damage with this.
No,
you go from 36 quill stack damage to like whatever that is. Is that like 61 or something? Yeah, 61
that's right. You
per
did the maths
quill
there.
stack.
Perfect.
So that's going to add up real fast. We're talking like
That's
400 AoE physical every 2.5 seconds or whatever the heck it is, 3 seconds.
Yeah, it just really feels like he just does not need that regen. He's able to frontline at the moment with these items, with Vanguard, Lotus, and Solar Crest BKB. Who needs regen?
And the disable threats that his opponents have, he can always turn, almost always. So we'll see what he does though. He may not end up committing, but there's a lot of mediocre armor heroes on the enemy team. That's basically everybody but Lifestealer right now.
Timber. Trying to do his best to hold off the push. As we are very, very confident in the front lining. The mass TP is coming back in from Liquid. So they will look to do their best to hold. Usually going in on the Briss at the same time. A bit of a split push coming out from Resolution's Illusions on the top lane as they work down that tier 3. And once again, in on the front, we falling low, but the bait potential as Moon comes in with a Burrow Strike, but in response, Kuroki looking to get the tree down, the Wukong's command out, won't quite reach Weeha on the side of it, but they get the 2 on the front. Moon and Saxa punished for their over-aggression.
Ooh, they lost the gem as well, I think. Must have been on Tusk, perhaps? Or Sand No, it was on Sand King, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a big loss, and this is basically the Night Stalker counter, is what it feels like there. He didn't actually even need to use his ulti there, but I guarantee that if Night Stalker wasn't in this game, Thunderbirds would just wait till daytime, then they would do that.
Oh, and a freebie
big
for
kill.
Matumba, yeah, just a solo kill on Misery. We'll knock him out for 45 and no buyback. And there's that pickup that the panel talked about, having someone with the Silver Edge. Now they're on Miracle. Yeah. So now there's that extra chance to bring down Weeha.
2 chances. Both him and his Tempest Doubler are going to have it. Which means that they can use Silver Edge for, what, 10 seconds in a row if they want. And now the game's just so weird because Thunderbirds should be just closing out Arax easily because they have a big advantage, but the nighttime thing is causing so many issues. They don't have this like overwhelming heal to keep the Bristleback healed up. Like his items are covering some of those problems, but they want to be getting these 500 HP heals every like 5 seconds. That's when they can just end the game and get a Rax or 2. But they're just not getting that opportunity because of the Night Stalker counter pick. And Thunderbirds are forced into doing these like high ground pushes or attempts at them at times where they're not going to necessarily be full power because they feel like they have this timer. Resolution maybe going to get caught here.
Just need to be a little careful. Liquid with 3 members in the neighborhood. Thunderbirds with the TP reaction are holding on. Mid lane, Weeha getting a bit aggressive, but has the haste ring. Again, feeling safe. But as we're seeing, you know, in a game where Thunderbirds were taking the vast majority of team fights and really keeping the pressure onto Liquid, Liquid's still able to turn it around if mistakes are made by Thunderbirds on these high ground sieges.
Yeah, absolutely can go both ways. And as time goes on, there's literally 5 Midases on Liquid, so...
Damn, the 5 Midas strat.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
For the late game implications there. Just everybody's got a golden hand. So everybody's going to have a lot of gold on the Radiant side, which could mean a super late game victory here. I think Liquid's goal is Turtle. Don't let them take a Rax. And here's an opportunity. It's daytime. Night Stalker, no ult. They've got 3 minutes.
Tried to go in onto Saxa, but Saxa quick with the snowball to hold himself back.
This is the best window that Thunderbirds has had all game. 3 minutes here. Well, it's actually 50 seconds until Night Stalker uses ult, but they've got a good 2 minutes of total window time here. They need to take a Rax, or at the least this tier 3.
Fortifications out. Miracle getting ready with the silver hedge hit. Will get it onto the Bristol back. Mind control being focused here by Rezo and Weeha on the sidelines. Moon has managed to find the stun onto Croaky, so making it very hard for Crow to get off that Wukong's command. He does find it, gets the bashes out. He survives. Croaky finally goes down, but that Wukong's command there, buying the time, hitting the bashes to allow them to get the triple kill for Miracle. I can't believe he got that off, and it did so much in that short second that he had it. The bashes were instant.
That was all about this medallion purchase on Monkey King, in my opinion. The difference of 7 armor there meant that Terrorblade doesn't just like 2-3 shot him, but they're going to be able to get the Night Stalker and a gem possibly if they can grab it in time.
GH and Matuma eyeing it up with the shards, keeping them away from him. Matuma, he's got the damage to bring down Weeha. Well, with the freezing field, it's going to be close, but Weeha still able to run it off. Matuma has to be careful of how heavy he goes in. He does have Miracle moving across as well to help. Saxa with the blink away will survive.
Okay, grabbing the gem definitely helps a lot. It's really tough for Thunderbirds though that they died there. That was the window. They did get the tier 3 at least, so they will be able to kill the enemy shrines, but I'm sure they were wishing they got a Rax. And yeah, the Monkey King staying alive just long enough to get quadruple bashes off or whatever the hell crap happened there. That made the big difference.
Yeah. It's looking scarier and scarier for Thunderbirds, considering that they had this lead and they haven't been able to take Rax. 35 minutes in. Bottom lane, the Tempest double. Won't even be taken down, actually. Miracle will keep it alive long enough for its timeout.
Yeah, very wise to not feed those. They give a lot of gold right now, and experience.
And you talked about the medallion. It's now a full-fledged solo crest, so even better.
Yeah, Resolution's queuing up a MKB, but he hasn't started yet. It's definitely pretty late at this point. Maybe should have grabbed. No, I think he's doing the right item progression. It's just kind of a bad timing that you have to deal with as Terrorblade. And Roche gonna go for Liquid here. Not too surprising considering that they put the pressure on their opponents recently. But.
And do you like the decision as well from Weeha, considering the situation? Not going to go for the Axe this game and has switched it up for the Assault Cuirass.
I think that's the right move. He's insanely survivable now. It basically means that Matoma Man doesn't really touch him too much. I mean, I like the Ags idea, but the timing wasn't quite right. And the fact that he bought Lotus Orb basically ruined his chances of getting Ags. It was basically Lotus Orb or Ags. It'd be his whole like survivability thing would be way too delayed otherwise. This will overall give him a lot better right-click damage anyways. Just the other one's better tankiness against like nukes and stuff, and better teamfight disruption kind of stuff. I mean, the man's got like 40 armor with the Solar Crest. I think he's going to be super effective like this. Ooh, Arcane Rune.
That would be nice if they want to get something done with it.
Okay, they're going to use Arcane Rune on Terrorblade probably for Metamorphosis.
Yeah, for the meta. Makes sense. They can make use of it here in this time, but they will be pushing, of course, into this Aegis. So it'll be questionable how heavy Thunderbirds try and go in during this time. I mean, do you feel that Thunderbirds, because of kind of that 5 Midas pickup from Liquid, are they running out of time, or do they have the heroes to continue to scale?
They definitely feel like that, and I do think there's some big worry about that.
Well, we'll find a free Crystal Maiden there, GH, left behind on the top lane. Down for 60. It's a minute that they can try and abuse this one hero advantage, but essentially Liquid, of course, still with 5 with that Aegis second life on one of their cores. They'll play it safe, get the shrines, continue to find what they can get. MKB now done, though, from Atumba. This man is certainly going to be able to start chomping through these heroes, especially if you factor in the Silver Edge and the Bloodthorn picked up on Miracle.
Yeah, it all comes down to 4 staffs. Things like Snowball, keeping those heroes alive is a big deal. God, Miracle is actually getting really farmed, though. Yeah. Double Midas pays off. Bloodthorn's going to be huge.
That's true, actually. I mean, technically the 6 Midas strap from Liquid.
Good point. He's queuing up Scotty afterwards. He's basically to the point here, especially it's 25. He's going to have 30% lifesteal as well. He's going to deal with the TB quite well at this point. I think this is the main reason they picked Dark Warden, because they knew they needed like a ranged Mjolnir carrier of some kind. That way they could actually clear the TB illusions when they go high ground. So they really did draft interestingly for that.
Jump here. Liquid, can they respond to this? They'll look towards Moon, bringing him down very low. Infest, the nuke damage is enough to bring him down, but in return, Thunderbirds, they'll find mind control. Kuroki quick with the jump away and now on the retreat. Tumberman and Kuro trying to get themselves out of there. Saxa with the sharp block onto Kuroki, tries to hide as a tree. It's not going to fool T-Birds as they take down the Monkey King as well.
Bottom a fraction of a second, but only so much.
Tumberman will be saved though, so it's kind of a little bit of a silver lining, but still, Thunderbirds getting 2 kills. It is of course just a question of, again, how much, if anything, they can get done in that 40 seconds for both, because Miracle, just look at the pressure, bottom lane and mid lane shoved entirely in onto the side of map of Thunderbirds. And in fact, he's going to go for a 1v1 here. He is inside the bubble, so the evasion isn't there for the Tempest double. Miracle's out. The Flux will bring Rezo very low though.
And that's just a Tempest double, man. He almost died. Fight goes in, though. Lifestealer, this is a huge kill. Okay, Aegis. Can they get the follow-up, though?
And Miracle's hanging around. But this is going to be a 3 versus 3 and a scary 3 on Thunderbirds with Weeha ready to be on the front line. Saxa will go for the easier kill. Looks towards JH. Do they have the detection? They do, indeed. They'll take him down through the Glimmer Cape. In response, the Bloodthorn and the Flux bringing Moon very low. T-Birds are ready to try and break high ground once more. There's no Aegis, there's no Crystal Maiden for a full minute. And Tumberman focusing on zoning back the Bristleback. The Bloodthorn's down onto Rezo, bringing him down to half health. Weeha straining on the high ground, has to be careful. This Miona damage bringing him down low, but the BKB's out. Again, another Wraith dropped up onto the high ground to continue to just zone Saxa back. Mind control has Tumberman inside him. They're ready to try and chase for more as T-Birds desperately scatter and back away from this.
They're going to chase. Here comes the blink.
Mind control.
Oh, good
immediately
stun.
turned on. Yeah, the Burrow Strike in response comes through. Tumberman now in the front. Resolution's just going to turn and beat him down. The Boundless Strike is there trying to save Tumberman. Can he get his way out of this one? He can't. He's down. Miracle has the Tempest Double, looks towards Rezo, but again, TB with his own BKB doesn't care about the lightning. Kuroki trying to 1v3 here with the Wukong's command. He will take one down. The Bash is keeping Thunderbirds back. He'll try and lifesteal his way back up, but they've got the Burrow Strike. They have the control. Triple kill for Resolution as Thunderbirds will end up taking the convincing team fight win.
Dude, that fight was saved by Sand Burrow Strike there. Just being able to instantly disable the Night Stalker makes it a little bit harder for Lifestealer to make a decision. And killing him basically means that even the Lifestealer can't run away because then he's stuck in the guy that's stunned. So that Burrow Strike is huge. Allows Resolution to get a kill without even having to commit Metamorphosis. He'll use it now, though. It's time to take a Rax for Thunderbirds if they can.
And he's absolutely massive. As we saw the BKB making huge effect in that last fight. He's got an MKB as well now. Miracle scouting out the situation with the Tempest double. And will look to put a bit of a harassment down onto Rezo. With Moon and himself, they'll turn and bring it down. But again, you can't underestimate the damage that this double can do before it goes. But the space is there. Top and middle racks being pressured by Thunderbirds. Miracle trying his best to keep them alive with the field, but Weeha simply steps into it and will allow them to bring down the melee racks on the top lane. Mid lane looking fairly exposed as well. In a few seconds, Liquid will have the full lineup back up. Resolution still with the Metamorphosis, so the damage that he can offer, can he bring down a second set? There'll be the fortification, BKB forced out on Rezo, now looking to get out. Liquid looking for the chase down. Can they get anything out of this one? Kuroki jumping forward, hits the Boundless Strike onto 2, Mind Control into the midst of it all, finds Rezo, hits the Silence and Void just in time to bring down the Terrorblade, and now the Shard. Oh no, they've actually trapped in Weeha, but oh, the epic Burrow Strike from Moon onto 3 as he comes back in. A buyback will be there from Kuroki, but Tumberman's down for 80 seconds, does not have any buyback available, and Thunderbirds, even after losing Resolution there with a fantastic fake back as they come in with that Sand King play.
It was such a fun little dance to see. They wanted to get close to the Terrorblade to kill him, but if they get too close, he sunders and he's going to be able to fight at full HP, so they just played it out until they finally had enough to disable. They get the kill, but the crucial epicenter there from Sand King, guaranteeing the team fight win.
Let's see how they can stop this. Kuroki from the high ground again with these Wukong's commands, but Saxa's forced out to safety. Weeha as well, shoved down to the low ground. Can they get him out? Miracle trying for the chase, but being very careful about how they step out the base now. They do respect the turn potential of the Thunderbirds.
And they also shut down the Wukong's command ult again, pushing him out instantly with the blinding light. And it's daytime. 1:28 until night. Night Stalker does have his ulti, but the heals are coming. And they got to shut this down pretty soon. I don't even know if they can stop this, though. With Matoma Man dead for 25, it's tough. They do make it nighttime, so no more heals here, but they've even got BKB.
Can they kill Weeha?
They can get him low, definitely.
Yeah, it's so hard, especially with the backup. You know, Moon ready to jump in with a Burrow Strike in case anything's get too dicey. We are just past the BKB. They want to go for the Megas. There's the jump in the Burrow Strike onto 2. Saxon trying to focus down. Miracle's out and down for 100. It's almost certainly going to be over unless they can get some big kills in return, Liquid. They found Moon. They'll get the Void onto Saxa, but he's shoved down to the low ground. The Sigil's slow, keeping Liquid back. Saxa takes a Boundless Strike to the backside, though. Kuroki will bring down the Tusk. Matuma Man with the quick invest play. Can he keep himself alive? He's hiding in the opponent's creeps here, but Kuroki being chased down back to the fountain by Resolution as they've lost the Monkey King as well. Buybacks coming out from Thunderbirds. They know that this is their chance to close the game off as they'll turn their attention towards the tier 4, and GG is called. We'll be taking this one to a game 3 as Thunderbirds bringing it together, and that's a man who's just played a mid-Bristleback and won a game.
Oh, yeah, it was a fun game to watch. Really cool strat from Thunderbirds. I think the Bristle was definitely the right hero for the game. And on the other side, I think even the Arc Warden was definitely a very solid pick. You could really see how Liquid's draft fit together. It was counter the high ground push of the Coddle and the early game of the Coddle with the Monkey King and the Night Stalker. And then the late game, they had Arc Warden to stop towers from being hit. They could always make it night, so it was hard for them to push with Illuminate. It was a really cool draft that came together, but the laning stage and the early game of the Arc Warden was really weak in my opinion. So it was really cool what Liquid did, and they made it very close. But if they had any other draft, that game would have been over at 20 minutes. And
it was a game as well that in the early stages, like Kuro, he was making a lot happen with the Monkey King.
Yeah, he played amazing, actually.
But it kind of fell off. It kind of slowed down getting the bash. He obviously went for the Midas. The 5 Midas, 6 Midas strat, whatever you want to say, it didn't end up working out. And I guess that was that just down to the fact that Liquid didn't have the turtle potential that they needed.
They had the turtle potential. It's just it was more like, get out of our base, we don't want to fight you kind of a thing. Maybe that's why it felt weak.
Okay, well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. More excitement, of course, on the way. We are having a game 3. But for now, back to the panel. Red, what do you guys think about that? Thunderbirds, they're bringing it to a 3rd game.
They are indeed. Thank you very much, Owen. Yes, Thunderbirds are go. It's 1-1, and we are headed into a 3rd match. We'll wrap up exactly how they managed to pull the game back to their side, and we'll also catch up with a panel that have had mixed reactions and mixed results in terms of predictions. I think your seat is cursed, Gods. Whoever sits there just gets the prediction wrong.
You're right, Paul. It's not me. I like where this is going.
Indeed. Great game to watch. Another good game between 2 great teams. It seems they're very evenly matched.
That Bristle was just a force to be reckoned with. They couldn't ever get through him. They couldn't kill him. Ends the game, I think it was like 15-16-0 with a bunch of assists. Like numerous times they're going on him. They're using the Silver Edge break, but he had a Lotus Orb, he had a BKB, he had teammates to bail him out with 4-staff Snowball. And they didn't even have to really back him up half the time. The few times where they forked me on him, he's like, all right, my team will bail me out. So, I mean, we had just completely steamrolled through them.
Yeah. What do you make of it, Ben?
I did really like the first pick Keeper, though. I think that was actually really key. If they don't play Monkey King themselves and they didn't want to ban it, it was a really nice way to start off, even though he did feed early on. I think the amount of utility that he provided for the pushes later on and his synergy with the Bristleback really paid off. It was nice.
I think they stuck to their strategy, you know. I talked about pre-game that they just need to focus on themselves, focus on playing on their timings, trying to push some stuff. You know, Misery sort of tilted in this game early on. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time a couple of times. He died. But once the first night was over, Thunderbirds decided to group up, go as 5, take the first tower, and then start their snowball. And this is one of the flaws in Liquid's lineup, right? Even though they can go around and kill people, they couldn't take any buildings. They couldn't take any objectives. It was extremely difficult for them to progress.
How much was that due to the Arc Warden pick?
The Arc Warden?
In the early game.
I guess the Arc Warden does buy Midas and has like a slower tempo-ish, but I think the Lifestealer is also like one of the reasons why they couldn't take any buildings. They got some kills, but he also went for the Midas first. Maybe it was better for him to go for the Armlet into the Midas. Although he did, I do believe that he needed the Midas in this game. Since he's playing against Bristleback and Terrorblade, he's going to need to be extremely fat, but he needs to get his team ahead first. The kills alone was not enough. They needed these objectives. They needed to make more room on the map for the Arc Warden to be able to split push, for the rest of his team to be able to run around and find more kills.
You feel like there was a better decision-making process here, Gods, as well?
From Thunderbirds,
Yeah.
absolutely. It felt like they were less cautious in the way they tried to take objectives, except when they needed to be. They did a much better job of securing themselves Roshan, getting Aegis for the team, and then when they had it, they were like taking tier 3 towers and just playing around the bristleback incredibly well. Like we had just always on the front line, slowly chipping the buildings. TB, when they had Metamorph, they were fighting. When he didn't, they were being cautious about which fights they chose. Those are really, I think the key moment was around the Roshan pit, where Thunderbirds went in, tried to take Roshan, they didn't finish it off, and then they didn't have Metamorphosis, so they were kind of in this really awkward position where they couldn't really stop Liquid from taking Roche. Roche was down to like 20% HP, but they just kited around, they used the Tusk, they used the Sand King really well, and they end up winning like a small little skirmish, and then they secure themselves Roshan because of it. That to me was like really well played by Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds did have a lot of issues pushing high ground, though. Game probably could have ended maybe 15, 20 minutes earlier.
Well, it has a lot to do with the Arc Warden's, what's the spell called?
Magnetic field?
Yeah, the magnetic field. So he has 2 of them, and Thunderbirds need to play off the Metamorph, right? So if you use the 2 one after the other, pretty much half your Metamorph is already down. And then as soon as those 2 cooldowns go off, Liquid decide to jump them. So there was like almost no opportunity for them to try and take any buildings. They needed to like find these picks first, make sure the Arc Warden is out of position, try to do a lot of weird things in order to even be able to break the high ground. I guess this is like one of Arc Warden's biggest strengths.
Felt like Liquid struggled to chase initially, like fights like we just saw there where they chase after towards their shrine. They're chasing with a Blink Night Stalker, but it's not really the ideal infest target. Like Lifesteal didn't have a really clean way to get into the fight.
It doesn't have like an insta-stun to just be able to burst the hero.
And then Night Stalker blinked in, and then he got insta-stun. Sand King's there ready to react, and it felt like there was limitations as the later the game went for Liquid because they couldn't really start fights in a crisp way.
Isn't that just an inherent problem with the Night Stalker position 3, though?
Yep.
Because they had Monkey King plus Night Stalker to presumably deal with the Keeper, and then they went with the Crystal Maiden later to empower their supports. But at the same time, then you have a Night Stalker position 3 who got his items but didn't really do anything in the latter half of the game, I feel like.
I mean, you can say like a lot of Liquid's lineup is very single targety. CM Monkey King is fine, but like your cores themselves cannot really like go for multiple targets. They just need to try and focus on. But like maybe Monkey King is the best bomb since he has a stun, but he's not really a bomb either. He needs to like be able to sit, wait for the right opportunity, get his big ultimate off, and he doesn't want to bring any attention onto himself. And if you're a bomb, you are bringing attention onto yourself. So that was definitely a flaw in
I mean, it worked for them in game 1 because they had the Doom, TA, and Spectre, which is also single target. Do you feel like they need to change it?
Like
or
the Spectre is like much different, right?
Okay.
Like Monkey finds someone first, and then the Spectre comes in, haunts, and then does whatever. And the Monkey doesn't have to like commit to the kill or anything like that. But with the Lifestealer, you sort of have to. So the playstyle is already much more different.
Here's the breakdown then with your match scoreboard, which shows a very up and down kind of game, I guess, until the to the end. Do you feel that's representative, Gods? Because it sort of felt like Thunderbirds were just edging to win that game from about 20 minutes out.
The only moment where I think there was maybe some worry and concern was when they lost the gem that first time going high ground around that tier 3 mid tower. They kind of dived in, lost 2 supports, lost the gem, and that's probably where we see that gold swing towards the Raiden favor because that gem exchange is like a 2,000 net worth swing in itself, not to mention the kills, which was like I think both supports and the Sand King. So that was where the big swing towards Radiant went. But at that point, it was still very hard for Liquid to push out, leave their base. They couldn't really control the lanes all too well. The Arc Warden slowly got on top of it with like the itemization there, but it still kind of came too late.
MVP, who stood out for you? Game 2.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to go with Weeha, right?
Yeah.
His Bristol boss was spot on.
His Bristle boss.
Yeah. That's what I used to call this hero, and I'm gonna stick by that.
Yeah, I think it's
Bristol
back.
boss.
The Bristle boss is back.
Yeah, it's back.
As far as he's concerned, yes. So Weeha is MVP. Disagree? Agree?
Agree.
Agree?
Yep.
Agree. So 4 house for the MVP. At least we can't get that one wrong, can we?
We haven't seen him.
We
haven't seen him
No, we can't.
go off like that in a while too. Like
No.
I think
Well,
he's been like decent, I would say, with like some of his Invoker performances and some of his other ones, but never like deathless. I think is actually pretty rare for Wii.
Yeah.
You know, Weeha likes to play these heroes that no one really wants to play.
He loves those.
Like, who wants to play Bristol back mid? But he will play it, and he will be
He'll love it.
absolutely amazing. Yeah, at it. Like you have to really feel a hero to play it as well as he did, and he understands this hero very well.
He's definitely shrugged off the whole pub star tag now, isn't he?
Long time ago.
Yeah, in terms of like, oh, you can only play a couple of heroes, that's why he's high on the pub list.
Right.
That's definitely out of the window now. Yes, Mr. Fantastic MVP for this game is Weeha. He helps his team draw level. They're now 1-1 in this best of 3. I guess we look forward to game 3 now, and Thunderbirds have got a bit of momentum now. How is it for you when you're in that position? When you lose the first game and you're a bit down, you're a bit like, oof, that didn't really work, and we got hammered kind of hard. Then you bounce back, and is it such a high that you just kind of go into game 3 on that high and you can carry it on?
Well, I think what they're gonna say is like, guys, game 1 we just screwed up. Game 2 we did literally our strategy and it worked perfectly fine. Let's just stick to that. There's no point to change anything more. Maybe even Misery was a little bit tilted still after the first game. We saw in his play, like, he was dying in very random spots that he normally wouldn't.
The early part of game 2?
Right, early part of game 2. But now, like, he's also, like, you know, his team brought him back pretty much. And everyone's, like, settled. They're like, okay, guys, game 3, again, same plan. Let's just play to our strengths, play to our timings, and we're going to be good.
So you don't expect too much to change?
Not for Thunderbirds at least.
Yeah.
Maybe for Liquid something can change.
Yeah.
Maybe they go like, guys, okay, we also played poorly. Let's just keep doing this triple core strategy, play aggressive with that, try to make some space by take some objectives. But I think it's much more difficult for Liquid to play their strat 3 games in a row, though, in comparison to Thunderbirds.
And Ben, Miracle, when he played in OG, was very much used to the 4 protects 1 kind of scenario, and everyone plays around him and everyone plays for him. Do you feel like that's changed with Liquid? Because they don't necessarily play that style.